Welcome back everyone to another fragrance review with yours truly. I hope and trust that you're all enjoying these fragrance review videos as much as I am in providing them to you. I know a lot of my viewers might be new to fragrances, or perhaps not appreciate or understand their importance, or indeed underestimate the power which a good fragrance can truly give you. There is nothing more simple nor effective than spraying yourself with fragrance to elevate your appeal to people, and in particular there is a great amount of contentment and confidence you can gain from knowing that you have that certain extra je ne sais quoi about you. For this video we are reviewing a fragrance from Lacoste entitled simply L'Homme Lacoste. Now with this one, as you can see, we're looking at a very classic glass bottle. The archetypal crocodile logo emblazoned and giving it that sense of refinement and subtle class. As we can also see, there is very much the perfect dimensions to contain maximum fragrance possible, and this really is a nice feature if we can once again discuss the prolonged longevity of the fragrance you buy and whether it's an economical investment or not. Now, in terms of what setting I see this fragrance working best in, it's probably the high summer, as it mixes with all the delicious aromas of that time of year. You can really pinpoint its poignancy in these warmer climes, and I feel like it is best suited for those types of situations or scenarios. As for the level of compliments you can expect to receive, it is probably far fewer than the previous two fragrances I have spoken about today. It will require someone with a more discerning nose, perhaps, to recognise its effect and scent. Certainly it's not quite the powerhouse that other fragrances can be, but for my mind its relative scarcity within popularity means that it can really make a statement. Of course, for someone such as myself who is particularly passionate about his fragrances, statement fragrances such as these can really make people sit up and take notice of you if you apply it. It is certainly out of the ordinary, and therefore just the sort of niche fragrance which some of my viewers might really desire to try, or indeed add to their own burgeoning fragrance collections. As we sort of look at it now, it does have that particular orange hue to it, which really, as I said, is certainly something which is eye-catching and colourful, but for whatever reason it just doesn't seem to have that sort of mass appeal. It's not one of their fragrances mainly that you see within the outlets, certainly within the UK, and it's definitely not one that you kind of get sort of foisted upon by sales assistants. There are certainly other more popular brands or more popular fragrances which are more within the limelight, shall we say, and as I said, as I sort of alluded to previously, really this channel and obviously the videos in which I discuss these fragrances, all they're really trying to do is just elicit a frisson of excitement and passion towards fragrances, so that you might share and really appreciate, I think, the value that some of these fragrances can have, particularly when you are looking for something which is individual or unique and that you don't want to smell like every other Tom, Dick and Harry on the streets. Now, once again, of course, we need to talk about the monetary side of things. For those viewers who are particularly conscientious, as well you might be, with your finances, this fragrance of the ones that we've reviewed so far, from my research, appears to be the least expensive one of all, retailing even as far and down as low as £30 in English money, and therefore it is not much of a strain compared with others currently on the market, certainly compared with the others that, as I said, I have discussed today on my other videos. Once again, I must, as I always do, add the disclaimer that in no way am I being financially backed in any way to either sell or devalue certain fragrances, but the opinions and thoughts I have to share are all my own on each of the fragrances I am reviewing. L'Homme Lacoste also represents a relatively new release, only from 2017, and therefore it is not a fragrance that is particularly widely known or renowned. And my job, if you will, is just to throw some light on some of those lesser well-known fragrances, which you might never be recommended to by those particular store clerks or advisors who may be working on an incentive-based scheme, or who may be unfairly incentivized, let's say, to promote additionally some of the more new fragrances or some of the more in vogue ones through the various offers or deals that you can get in many of the fine prestigious outlets which we have available for perfumes or fragrances, or however you might denote them. Now, of course, as is commonplace on these reviews, I have reviewed and looked at the base notes and top notes and heart notes and so forth using my old favourite basenotes.net. With L'Homme Lacoste, we have the top notes being mandarin, quince and rhubarb. The heart notes are black pepper, ginger, jasmine and almond. And the base notes are cedarwood, amber, musk, vanilla and akigala wood, I believe. The mandarin in particular is the shining ingredient. Perhaps it's the most overpowering of all the scents within this particular fragrance. Certainly that is what you can smell upon first spray, and I've always been quite a fan of that sort of scent. Really very fresh and zesty, and as I sort of mentioned before, extremely good for summer months, or indeed, because we do live, if you are living of course in Britain, in a maritime climate where the weather does change very intermittently, and as I said, it's better for those sort of warmer temperatures, in my own humble and personal opinion. Now, of course, what we must say as well is that in terms of its performance, it does have a good initial performance on the skin. Very, very much a scent which does shine, or is very, very good upon that initial phase. But it also does have a very similarly tasteful and classy dry down, and it does have a relatively reasonable at least, compared to its price point, longevity, as it will look to sort of linger on the skin, and it still does retain some of that initial good and quality class to it. Now, for anyone who is looking to try another inexpensive fragrance, I think L'Homme Lacoste might actually be exactly the fragrance for you. So what I would say, and I think this is really one of the main goals or targets that I'm trying to aspire to attain with my channel, is really trying to get you to broaden your fragrance horizons, all of you subscribers, watchers and viewers, in terms of what fragrances that you might you look to try or look to acquire. It's all very well if one of your mates or your partner or anything along those lines is all wearing the same Dior Sauvage or Paco Rabanne 1 Million, which many will be familiar with. But really, I think what we're looking to do now is just try more of a wide variety of fragrances. And really, that's what I'm sort of suggesting, is that this is a nice little lesser known fragrance which can really, like I said, perform quite well, and it's not really been talked about too much. So really, I'm sort of giving you an honest appraisal and opinion of its merits, and of course, it's not without its disadvantages, like most perfumes. But really, like I said, it is a good, solid, dependable sort of a fragrance, and as I said, chiefly quite a cheap fragrance, at least compared to many others on the market, for its performance and its strength and its quality. Now, a lot of you, of course, will be asking that what is it that I can particularly commend about L'Homme Lacoste? And really, it's all about the fact that you just need to apply it carefully, much as you will do with all fragrances, and just allow it time to settle, and then you'll get all of the benefits of its potency, which I've certainly been able to do so. And in terms of the fragrance's overall rating, I would give this fragrance a 6 out of 10. Not necessarily as high as some of the stronger performers, but definitely I can see that it does have its economic side and its own uniqueness. And of course, it doesn't have the longevity or the widespread appeal that some of the other fragrances have that I will be reviewing on this channel. But as I said, it definitely does have its place within my own fragrance arsenal, and it is very useful, like I said, for something that's quite new and unusual. And really that sort of ties it up, guys. So as always, thank you so much for your continued support, and enjoy yourselves in whatever activities that you're going to be doing on the day or the night, wherever in the world that you are. Many thanks.